just cracked me up. Good evening, everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do love that song. Like I play it in my truck. Booze, Botox, and Gravity. How is everybody tonight? It's a great song. She's definitely a whore. Congrats to the New York Knicks, except for the city that just decided why, when you win something after 1970, do you have to go destroy your city? I just don't understand. I don't understand. Got 2 kids living there. Not sure they slept last night. It was definitely a party. Excited for the stream. It looked like a riot. I don't know what kind of party I watched, but Patty is fun. Hey, Jules, how are you? Nice to see you. See you in 56 minutes. Wendy's not a whore, but W72841 is still in prison. Thanks, Mr. C. Modern Muse. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, Tater. I was on Roberta Glass True Crime Report last night while she was talking about Nick Reiner, and I was like, God, it's so interesting to see how her face matches her voice. I wonder if people think that of me, because I'm on the radio, so I wonder about that sometimes. But I mean, she's just beautiful. It's so fun to watch her. My hockey game is on, and the Stanley Cup can be won tonight. I don't even know who's playing. I was going to watch the World Cup, but if you look behind me, you can see all of this equipment behind me. I was taking apart a friend of mine, PlayStation 5. It just stopped working. So I thought, I'll take it apart and see what goes on. So I have to order a new power supply. But that's what all that equipment is behind me. So I didn't go to see the World Cup tonight. Everybody is watching soccer. I don't watch soccer. But I'd go to a party where there's soccer because I would go to the party with my friends. Hello, Blue River. How are you? So do we know why YouTube removed their own emojis? Because I don't have that feature anymore. I don't know, but I could ask. I was wondering what you were talking about. Let's see. The little custom faces. YouTube has largely shifted away from promoting its own emoji ecosystem and instead relies on standard Unicode emojis and channel emotes. Just got away with it. Who knew? Thanks, because I didn't know. I did not know. I'm watching Keith Urban singing on while I wait for Patty. My man Keith has come out with the remake of all the 70s songs, and I'm down for it. Oh, I'll listen to that. I don't like a lot of country music unless it's the old country music. I don't like a lot of new country music because I don't think it sounds like country music. Does that make sense? You would, Mr. C says, like to see a Canadian team win hockey. That's funny. Okay, wait a minute. Who are we talking about, Tater? Gibby Same. Who are you talking about? One of my clients discovered him and is best friends with him in business. I don't like his wife. Who do you mean? Keith Urban? I don't know who you mean. I no longer have the pink hand. Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. His ex-wife. So you were talking about Keith Urban. You're here for it. Hey, Leslie, how are you? Leslie inspired me. Tell you what, this woman We had a nice long conversation yesterday, and she inspired me to work and grow the channel. I'm just kind of about it. Like, yeah, I love you guys. It's the people I know, but it's hard for me to, I know it's hard for people to understand, but lift outside of my shell and work at this. And she inspired me yesterday. So I went through, created some new playlist names. I'm going to add some videos to it, stay organized about YouTube. So thank you, Leslie. It was very inspiring. Put end scenes on, which I didn't even know about. Was watching all these little YouTube creator videos last night. Very interesting. They're not marriages, they're business arrangements. Like Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon. Can I tell you, I really like them. And they left Hollywood. It's the ones that leave Hollywood I think I admire the most when they talk to celebrities. Botox and Gravity. I didn't name it. It was a very, very cool name. You haven't had the YouTube emojis. I need to restretch my emojis. I need to add more for patty cakes and patty melts. We're going to trash talk Wendi, but something came to mind and I missed it on I didn't miss it. I was talking to Leslie yesterday and we were talking about parental alienation, and something came to mind to me today. I talked to a friend of mine who's a therapist, and she is going to give me a referral, so to speak, for someone who concentrates on parental alienation. And I don't mean like alienating when you're getting a divorce. I'm talking about adult children, no contact style alienation. And segue into Wendi Adelson, Estrada, Richardson, Markel, whatever her name is today, whatever she picks, and what she's done to the Markel family, and in turn, the boys, and how that affects the children. And we were talking today, this friend of mine, she will remain nameless, and she believes that these anxieties, or say Wendi was like, OCD or ADHD, or clearly has some sort of personality disorder, although I'm not a therapist. She has something going on. Like you can't live like this and change your kids' names repeatedly and not have some sort of issue with humans, like coexisting with them. And that's my opinion. And she said that she believes, as a therapist, that there is like neurological genetic pass-throughs that we get. It's generational trauma, I think is what she called it. And so she said she went to a conference and there was someone that might be able to speak to us about it. I was even more touched because, I've had it in my own family. My brother didn't talk to my parents for decades. And I'm the middle of 7, but I only speak to 2, all but a choice. And there's only one that I would speak to, and that's the one who alienated my parents, just because the man he used to be, the one I knew, was just so fun and funny to be around, and just he was really a joy. I don't know him now. I have no idea if he's joyful or not, because I only know him to see him, to be honest with you. Haven't talked to him in, I don't know, 10 years, maybe longer. And he was at my mother's funeral, but we didn't speak. He didn't even nod at me. So I'm clearly, as benign to him as you could be. So it is in my own family. And then last time we were on, people were talking about how their adult children have alienated them and that there's no contact. And it just seems like it's spreading. I have there's a girl here in town. She was a client. my counter is a friend, but she doesn't speak to her parents. Of course, I don't know why, but she's open about it, and she is also a social worker. I don't know what it is about how you were raised, if it was so extreme, like TV extreme, that you can't get past that and see the parents for the humans that they are. I don't know if forgiveness is a factor, like, you just can't forgive your parents. I don't know. I didn't I didn't have that experience, so even my brother, I know he got it, like, he got it. Like, my parents were very strict, but I was compliant to avoid punishment. Still compliant to this day, and my brother got it, like, he got in trouble. My older siblings had different parents than what I have because there's 9 years between me and the top 3. And I know my father was extremely strict. Today it would be abusive. Extremely strict. I didn't see it because I wasn't born. I just know that I had it differently, and that put me in a position to be disliked by my parents. I mean, by my siblings, at least 2 of them, because I didn't get it, and they were, "Why didn't she get it and we got it?" Well, one thing, I was compliant. I mean, that was really like, if you listened and you behaved, I learned early on, you didn't get in trouble. So I did what I was supposed to do, and, but not everyone is willing to do that, obviously, they weren't. I didn't take my parents' car in the middle of the night at 14. My brother did. Um, which is still funny to me this day because he was so much shorter than me, and he took an 8-passenger Caprice Classic station wagon to go meet a girl. Like, those things you aren't supposed to do, and you kind of knew when you grew up with them, you're going to get in a big, big pile of shit for it. Um, but now we're grown, right? You're grown. I saw my parents for the humans that they are. I saw how much my parents, I mean, came from nothing. I can remember going to see, my parents grew up in downtown Louisville, and I can remember I get very upset about it. Seeing that tiny, it's a parking lot now. Across the street from where my parents grew up is a white tablecloth Michelin restaurant in downtown Louisville. But where my dad grew up was just a parking lot. And now there's a tree there. It's a parking lot for this restaurant. Next door to it, it's one of those tiny little clapboard shotgun homes. And I went with my aunt, I don't know, years ago. And stupidly, we were going there over the Kentucky Derby. I almost got, like, hit a bunch of runners for a 5K. It was kind of funny at the time. I was going down the street, which I knew to go, and then all of these, they didn't have it blocked off. All of these runners came at me, so I had to turn real quick. But I saw that parking lot, which I had never seen before, and I just belly cried. Like, I knew that point how much my dad had to do to raise 7 kids from that little tiny 1-bedroom, 400 at the most square foot clapboard house. Now, I took and made the effort to go learn about that. I guarantee you none of the others have, like, they just haven't. Because I'm always curious, which is why I do this, right? Curiosity. But I knew from that moment what that man had to sacrifice to be able to raise us. He was a football player at Flagey. Flagey is a Catholic boys' school in Louisville that has been closed for years. But he went to school with Paul Hornung and Howard Schnellenberger. And so here in the United States, Paul Hornung was a Heisman Trophy winner. He played for Notre Dame, and he was the only Heisman Trophy winner to ever win the trophy at a losing school. So the school did not have a winning record at the time. Paul Hornung. Howard Schnellenberger went on to really grow the University of Miami football team. That's what is his claim to fame. So my dad was offered a scholarship by Bear Bryant and couldn't take it because he was the oldest of 10. So his parents wouldn't allow him to take this scholarship. His brother also got a scholarship, but he left to go on to be in the Air Force. And he stayed. He was an E9 when he was done, huge in the Air Force. But then I realized, like, oh my God, like he forgo playing football. He didn't go to college. Everything he did was to help 9 siblings and then 7 of his own children, and the sacrifice that takes. That is my perspective. Clearly, a lot of people don't have that of their parents because they're alienating the parent. And it literally breaks my heart because I just can't imagine. There was a period of time I got pregnant with my daughter and we weren't married. I didn't get married till like, I think it was like 4 weeks or 5 weeks after Molly was born. And my parents didn't talk to me, like very Catholic. Well, I didn't talk to them either. So it was kind of the thing, but it only lasted about, I don't know, 20 weeks. It didn't last forever. Like we both came to grips with it. And then we were like, hey, Dad. And then it was like, yay. But this is just an ongoing problem. And it just literally is breaking my heart when I see my friends going through it. I see you all going through it. And then you see that twat of a human being, Wendi Adelson, who has taken apart the Markel family. And she has. And I dare anybody to tell me differently. Glenn Thomas, that's it. She has systematically torn that family into shreds, including her own children. Now, I don't think she believes that. I believe she's a narcissist to the point where she does not believe she's damaging. She believes, and this is my opinion, that she is protecting the Markel boys from the grandparents and any knowledge about the parent, Dan, who was murdered in his garage, that they could provide. I think it's pure fear on her part because if they talk about Dan, if they talk about what he liked, what he didn't like, they're going to ask more questions than she is ever going to provide because her freedom depends on these boys not having recall of what happened to their father and any conversation they might have overheard the mother having with Jeffrey Lacoste or Catherine Magbanua or anyone else. Because, I mean, you could hear Donna on the phone talking around the boys when they were little. And they're on a playground. So any of that recall that they may come up with in their future is detrimental to her freedom. That is why she cannot allow them to have a relationship where she is not watching them 24/7, go in the room, go out the room, monitoring what they drink, monitoring what they say, everything. Everything relies on that. Her entire house of cards relies on those boys having zero recollection. But there is genetics. There's genetics that come from that. If she believes that those boys are not curious, she's lying to herself, which narcissists do. I guarantee you those boys have asked questions. I will tell you for sure, when Georgia asked her, did you tell anyone that Dan was killed in an accident? That is 100% true. She did tell people. She told the boys when they were little. I will share that. She told the boys when they were little he was killed in an accident. Part of that is understandable because it was a shooting and they're babies and you don't want to do that. Get it. But what happens when they're grown? You got to start telling them the truth. And then systematically, because of Wendy's selfishness, the grandmother is gone. The uncle's gone. Beloved by at least one Markel boy. Harvey is a shell of himself. You've got Catherine Magbanua and her family destroyed. She would have done it anyway, but still. Luis Rivera and his family and multiple children destroyed. And Sigfredo is just an evil. I mean, he just was going to end up in prison no matter what. But still, she was the catalyst for all of that damage. And if you don't think when Wendy's walking around her Austin neighborhood trying to pretend she isn't Wendi Adelson, that is not damaging the psyche of two teenage boys and their masculinity. And I'm not even a therapist, and I can see that. I think all of 138 people who are on here can pretty much tell that is some damage. You change their name, Phoenix Eichner. You change their name on their sports things, and you're saying it's all because you're protecting them, but you're not. You're protecting yourself. This has nothing to do with Ruth and Phil Markel. They could go fure on Sherry Ballard on them, like Sherry Ballard has gone on Brooks Houck, and still not do any damage to those boys the way this woman has done the damage to these boys. So we're talking about Wendi Adelson and the alienation. I went and found that paper that this lady wrote, Predatory Daughters, the Art of Parental Alienation Comparative Study. I'd like to talk about it again. And then there was some an article I found. It says children may not remember trauma, but their bodies do. So I looked up, and I think I hate to keep bringing her up, but my father's alibi, Allison Galvani, and how she remembered so much about her mother's murder. She remembered that her mother was supposed to meet her. She remembered the taco party. She remembered the kind of blanket that was in the house, and that it was a picnic blanket and used to be in the car, and then they found it around her mother. There was a lot of things that this woman remembered early on, which gave credibility and ability to be a witness in the essence of her mother's murder. And she was 5 years old. That's it. So a brief thing was, where does it say it? I think it was, people start remembering like 3 to 4 years. At 3 to 4 years, they start storing memories. They may not have access to the memory. Like in my world, I don't remember. I can remember a couple things in first grade, but not much. I was very attached to my mother. I'd been sickly as a child, as a baby. So I was very attached to her. And I can remember crying, having to go to half-day kindergarten and leaving my mother. I don't know what I thought was going to happen to her, but I did not want to leave my mother. It was very hard. So I remember that. I remember I was on Romper Room for a couple weeks. I remember being on Romper Room. I was tall, and I remember the comments about my height, which probably made me even more introverted than I already was, because I was very tall as a child. But I didn't have that kind of trauma. But I think, I don't know. I just can't imagine that changing your children's names and changing your name to avoid being looked at, or you're going to put it on Nancy Grace, who, by the way, has nothing to do with it, is kind of like, is cruel. I think it's cruel to do to the boys, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to go back to the comments here for a second and see where I lost my place. I probably lost it a while back. Luckily, the beauty of this new StreamYard lets you know what you've seen and what you haven't. Browse our. Thank you, Leslie. Your daughter visits and I start working out. No, I mean, it wasn't about her. But I do have questions about all this parental. I mean, my daughter and I speak, so praise the Lord. Botox is now part of country music. How could it not have been? I mean, to me, that's a complete segue into country music is Botox. Hey, Vegas Vibes, how are you? I'm Jill, and you're not. Or Yeah, once this lady, I'm hoping this person comes on talk about parental alienation or adult no contact to the parent. I'm thinking she may not want to come on. I don't know. You don't think Roberta sounds like her? I think she does. I do. Hey, Harriet, how are you? So glad to be here. Just left the hospital. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Is he okay? Oh my heavens, dear. Wendi is still not a total slag. So a lot of times in the comments, if you're new watching, a lot of inside baseball conversations going on. So I have to look through. Leslie hates soccer. It's like it's like I don't even understand soccer. I mean, I know understand it, but it's like air hockey. That's how I compare it. Hey Mia, how are you? You noticed no emojis too. Hey True Crime Wifey, member for 21 months. How are you? We were talking about you. We want to do a trivia night. New country sucks, says Tater. I don't like. Oh, you were talking about that, Keith Urban. I do like Nicole. Sorry. Hey, Murder, how are you? Murder's got different handles for different shows. Noticed that last night. Only 20 months, your life isn't. Thanks, Rebecca. Let me go. We talked for like an hour and a half. We did. Let's see. Everyone's saying hi to everybody. You got to grow. So ready for Wendi after Charlie is done. I am too, Tallahassee Lassie. I found out from one of my student clients the other day that Chris Stapleton. Oh, really? I don't even know what I do. Can't judge. I won't judge that one. There's 90 of us here. Bling is feeling better. Hey, Mark, how are you? Whatever her name is today, whatever she picks, it's just so weird. She just needs to change her name. So the reason I say that is because the whole whore thing is because several YouTubers, not me, got a cease and desist from Wendy's attorney, John Lauro, and he wanted the YouTubers and whoever was talking, podcasters, I don't know if they were just on YouTube, to stop talking about Wendi and her family and her friends. Well, sorry, her family is like 40% are in prison, and friends, who are we talking about? There isn't anybody. So what are they going to say anyway? So I'm just challenging John Lauro. He can't sue anyone. He could send a cease and desist, but that's it. Because if he sues anyone, yes, it's expensive. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Discovery is a thing. Discovery would be fun. Wendi, how many men have you slept with? It's not pertaining. Yeah. Well, if I'm calling you a whore and you're challenging me called a whore, then, the number of men that you slept with might have some little say in that. Just depends. They don't want her to be disparaged. But as soon as you're labeled an unindicted co-conspirator, the murder of your ex-husband, and even that, how you did it, like you can divorce someone and not be a total twat about it. She wanted what she wanted. I don't know what the disorder is called, but spoiled brat seems to be one. She wanted what she wanted, and that's it. Leslie, Keith Urban's building a house on the corner of Robin Hill and Jocelyn Hollow. Well, I'm going to have to look that up. Wendi is malignant, narcissist, and psychopath, in my opinion, well informed and educated to spot. Blue River, thank you so much. I forget you're now Patty Benatar with your rock album Into the Fallopian Tube. Did Wendy learn about erasing parents' names from the Brady Bunch? Social media is the demon and the devil. These kids get anything online to support their idea. Bots from Russia for real. Yeah, I've been on ChatGPT literally all day, but I don't ask ChatGPT for an opinion. So some people will literally talk to Chat and they'll name it, say they name it Barry. I don't know. So they call it Barry and they talk to Barry like it's a thing, like it's a human. I don't do that. All I want is information coming from one place. So I'm taking apart someone's PlayStation, PS5, and there were parts I wanted to make sure they were healthy. So I took a picture of it. Chat, is this part healthy? Looks to be. Chat, is this part healthy? Looks to be. It just shortened my troubleshooting time. So now all I have to do is order the power source, which is what we thought it was to begin with. However, I wanted to know. I didn't ask, like, should I change the color of my hair or eyebrows, or should I speak to my parents? Should I not speak to my parents? But I think that is part of what's going on. I do. Shalom all. Has to be karma for Wendy keeping those boys from their Bubby and Zaddy. Hopefully I said that right. For the Markels and Shelley's family. It's an epidemic from the pits of hell, Patty, the whole alienation. And I really don't understand it. Like, I I mean, I'm assuming in my own case, I don't know if it was because there were 7 of us and I'm assuming I haven't talked to him about it cuz the door's closed. But is it because he didn't get his own car to take in the middle of the night? I mean, is it I don't know the reason. Is it because he was yelled at? Is it because he got the belt? I don't know. All I know is my mother, even if you say my father, my mother adored him. And it's just was heartbreaking for her. And she was good enough to babysit their young son, who's now a coach in football, collegiate football, good enough for him to be watched by her, but nothing after that. So it seemed kind of situational. My mother blamed my sister-in-law 100%. I don't know that she had anything to do with that decision. I know that my sister-in-law adores my brother and would be supportive of him no matter what. Like, he could go rob a bank. I think she'd be supportive of him. True story. She just always did. They were high school sweethearts, and she just always did. I've never had that kind of love, so I can't judge it. But watching what this woman has done and then seeing the Markels and the grace that they carry themselves with and how they've refused to take some of the options that they have in front of them. They could sue for wrongful death. They chose not to. They could come out and bash the mother of their grandchildren. They've chosen not to. Frankly, they have us. Sherry Ballard, who was Crystal Rogers' mother, the case we talked about last week with Brooks Howe being convicted, that was her baby daddy, being convicted of her murder, along with Joseph Larson and the other Larson, his father. She hasn't bad-mouthed Brooks, but she's been a lot more overt about saying who is responsible for the murder of her daughter, Crystal Rogers. The Markels have not. They just say whoever has taken part in this should be brought to justice. That's pretty much the extent of their statement. And that's been like that for almost 12 years. July, it'll be 12 years. 12 years. And they're still waiting. I have no idea why they wouldn't like their parents. They're idiots. The Beckhams. That's another one. That boy The only reason he even has a name is because his mother is Victoria Beckham and his father is there's just no reason. And you can't watch that reality show. I've only seen clips of them, of the Beckhams, and not think these two really love each other. Because he will call Victoria out, and I love it so much. I love it. Kids feel weird, blame parents, and lack onto junk they find online. It's got to be part of it, but it's the catalyst, not the cause, right? I think it's the catalyst, but I don't know. You can't go to your parents. I mean, I think so much of this is people live without a God. They live without God, not just a God, but any God. And they feel themselves. I'm into this humanist, like studying humanism and Gnosticism right now. And if you're only looking inside your own skull and you're not looking outward into the universe, you're losing a lot. I mean, you may be even atheists. I don't even know. I you're just losing a lot. How can you look inside the human eye and not think, man, there's a God? The whole birth complex, how a baby is born, the umbilical cord, all of that is not just it's just not evolution. But your mother suffered to put you out. She did. You may not believe it as a child if you've not had your own children, but she does suffer. And just because you don't want to talk to her, you don't even want to try, or do you just think that your parents couldn't possibly know how hard you had it? But Wendy's done this to herself. She is different. She is alienating the Markel boys, who they will always be to me, and refusing to allow any open relationship. So it's super awkward, and they're in their 80s. This isn't going to continue forever, and they're going to have all of that lost. All of it. That is Dawn. She said a comment and burn pile murderer. Melanie Ferris chat the other night and said booze, Botox, and gravity is taking Wendi down, whether she wants it or not. Patty grabbed it, John, and did a great job. She did. That was Dawn. Leslie, when you sell your soul to Satan, you have to sacrifice one of your kids to that movement. Ooh, Tater. I mean, you can't. Just so sad. Rosie says, I stopped talking to my mom. It's been going on for a year now. Ever since she called me a pig for making those kissing noises at my chihuahua. She hates dogs. Stop talking to my mom. What kind of relation? I mean, I'm not gonna. What kind of relationship did you have before that, Rosie? I mean, that just didn't happen overnight, right? That's just one. I guess the last thing. Each child is affected differently, even in a normal parent. I'm glad I never did that sort of thing during my childhood. Take a car at 14 and go meet your girlfriend. I decided that definitely my children have a spiritual problem and an immaturity problem. I've asked for forgiveness from them for the things I did wrong. They're choosing not to forgive. I'm so sorry, Tater. This breaks my heart. Hey, Dawn. There's some emojis. John says, time to let it go. She won't live it forever. I have so many questions about that, Rosie. Check out a rabbit hole I found. Check on Google Maps for Waldorf School and see where your closest one is. Loads of them are around the world, and they run on Satanist principles. I'm writing that down. There's a lot of that going on here. Ooh, the paganism is big here. So most people think I'm just writing this down. We're in the South. It's very Baptist. It's very Southern Baptist. It's very whatever, Pentecostal. And you would be right. But there is a whole group of pagans. And I have one I want to interview. Her name's Anne. And she has converted to the Catholicism, and I want to interview her. She seemed open to it when I asked her. But I have so many questions about that and how she saved herself. And she really did. She and her husband saved her from a lifetime of pure hell. Hey, Kathleen. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Caroline. Bear Bryant is a big deal. He is. He was at University of Kentucky at the time. She really doesn't like me. My nephew will visit her, and it's okay. My sister had a dog, and it was okay. Your mother doesn't like you. I do believe that happens. I'm so sorry, Rosie. Why would Charlie's appellate lawyer withdraw? Because he left the firm. Her name is Laurel. She left the firm, Ufferman's firm. I don't know where she went. Let's see. What is her name? Laurel Niles, right? Florida bar. She left. She might have gone out on her own. But she left. The fact that I remember her name is just crazy to me. I think it's Niles. Yep, she went out on her own. Let me show you. This is why. So she left Ufferman's office and she went on her own. That's the only reason. What is this? What is that, YB? Hey, Just Me Joe. How are you? We'll see you soon. I found a review of one of these Satanist schools from a parent. Her kid brought home cookies. They ate them. Then the kid told her they had put spells and curses. Oh my God. I have no words. I moved out at 21, Debbie says, because my mom came into my work on midnight shift and stole my car keys, took the bus home, packed a bag, said goodbye to my dog, and got my car, and you didn't talk to her for 3 years. Why'd she steal your car keys? She needed a car? Glenn Thomas. That is Wendy's apologist. Commented on my channel today that he has proof in Instagram that Wendi is innocent. I guess he'll be called to testify. I have pictures of 3 of us together, my 2 sisters and I, and she's literally pulling away from me and they treat her like shit. One day I have to forgive her because she's 84. So that reminds me of Carly Simon. So it's random thoughts. Carly Simon is a singer-songwriter. Her parents' father was Simon Schuster. And she has, I think, 2 sisters. Part of the reason Carly Simon can sing is because of that mouth, that big, large cage of a mouth. That's the sound goes through there, right? So her mouth was very large. And she talks about that literally, like the photos of her with her parents, the father was always pulling away from her because she didn't believe she was as beautiful as the other 2 sisters. So I'm so sorry of that, Rosie. I think that can go back to, I don't know your mother's story. But that whole generational trauma that my friend talks about, my first ex-husband, only ex-husband, his first wife, he's been married 3 times. She was a child of her grandmother. I think either lost a baby or oh yeah, she lost a baby to a fire. That's what it was. She lost a child in a fire. So his first wife, grandmother, lost a child in a fire. So when it came time for her mother to be born, the woman couldn't nurture a table. Like she was not, it's just a different time too, but she lost a child and she wasn't nurturing. So when this mother gave birth to his first wife, she was not nurtured. And then when the first wife had their child, my stepson, she was not nurturing. So it carried on. She didn't know how to nurture. She was the middle of 3, also quite homely compared to the other 2. And her mother told her so. That didn't help. But the mother was very cold. But her mother had been very cold because a child had died in a fire. So, I mean, you kind of have to go through it. But her experience with her mother was very perfunctory and very biological and no emotion. And so that passed on and passed on. And that's kind of what it reminded me of. You wrote back to Glenn Thomas, Wendi Adelson's apologist, and said, great, please screenshot it and email it to me. JBZ says, I'm so sorry. I have a daughter in Houston that I haven't spoke to in years because I'm a Yid and she became a Christian and it's sticking and painful, but I had to let go. She was degrading me and more. That's the opposite of being a Christian. Sorry. So sorry. So sorry, JBZ. She said you couldn't date my boyfriend anymore and I was grounded. Oh, you were living in her house. Well, you moved out. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to date. There was no dating. My job was to go to school and he meant it. Of course, I dated on the side, but only after I turned 18, not before. Okay, hello. How are you? Leslie says, I work with families every day. Let me tell you, almost every family now has an estrangement somewhere. It is wild. Tater says, Gibby, that's crazy. I was almost 21 and my dad told me I couldn't date my boyfriend. He kicked me out of the house and the night I was packing my stuff. He took the battery out of your car. He didn't want you to leave. He just wanted you to stop dating the guy. And Tater, was he right? Oh, my dad would have had a stroke. My boyfriend was, I wasn't in my parents' house, but he was 20 years older. My parents would have had a stroke, but I would have married the man in 5 minutes. And I've even told my husband as we were, if that man ever became available, and even if it was 20 years older than me, I'd have left him. I told Chris all the time, I'm out. Man died last year. Debbie, did you marry the guy? My dad would have had a stroke. So my boyfriend moved out the same day. He was 16. I was 21. Yes, we got married. Yeah, it's probably why she didn't want you to date him. He was so much younger than you. Wendi truly is a horrible human being. Can't even call her human for destroying families. Hear that, Laura? That's my opinion. Thank you, Blue River. Because he paid $40 for it the week before. And if I wanted it, I needed to give him the $40. I'm like, you're kicking me out of the house and telling me to leave you, but you take the battery. Talk about passive aggressive on your daddy's part. Super passive aggressive. I don't know a family that doesn't have dysfunction. I don't either. I mean, but no, I lie. There's a couple families I know that they really all still talk to each other. They're in my family. Like, my dad was the oldest of 10, so his sisters and brothers had a bunch of children, And there's very little alienation that I know of amongst them. I think I have 65 first cousins, somewhere in there. We were together 12 or 13 years, broke up when your son was 4. Man, you wouldn't have gotten no, I mean, that is a lot of age difference, 21 and 16. He must have been mature and really cute. Be really cute. Your parents were right about the loser, but no one ever listens, so kicking anyone out does no good. It really doesn't. All Wendi has to do is let the boys believe that by bringing it up, they will upset her. And that's probably what she says. Probably what she says. Wendi has more control than Kim. Yeah. I mean, she is probably Donna Adelson on crack. You know how Donna was so controlling? I bet she is super controlling. Every family has it. Dysfunction does not discriminate. Rich, poor, anywhere. Every family has it. You can pick your friends, but you surely can't pick your family. Well, in some cases you can, like steps. But going back to Roberta Glass's comment about Nick Reiner last night and the siblings, Romy and I think it's Jack is the brother. Remember, Penny Marshall was married to Rob Reiner and she had a daughter and Rob Reiner adopted her. So I don't know where she plays into the sibling mix here, but she was adopted. And I think it's amazing with all of the what's the word? Enabling that goes on in LA as well as, in our own lives. There's so much enabling that they are not enabling Nick Reiner by giving him money even for soap. That is just absolutely incredible. Like they know he was troubled. We hear so much of drug abuse is a disease. It's a disease. You can't help it, a disease. But they are still holding on to that financial grip, which I think is absolutely incredible and admirable. I am shocked by it, to be honest with you. In an LA situation, the parents were so incredibly liberal. Still had a trust fund for this man, even though he likely didn't deserve even 1 cent. And the children, they're adult children. Romy was an addict, isn't a recovering addict, and they're still not passing over even money for soap. I think that's absolutely admirable, incredible in this day and age. You just don't hear about that in LA. I mean, look at the Menendez brothers. The whole family were trying to get them back out. Killed parents, right? Same scenario. But everybody and their brother was trying to get them out except for one branch of the family. And here we are. Nick can't buy soap. And I'm here for it. I think it's amazing. Most of their existence has probably been not saying the wrong thing to upset mom. I know. Rebecca says, I'm one of those rare peeps who had a lovely childhood with no trauma. Why did we all have, trauma? I mean, we didn't even lose anyone in our family to death. My mom's mom died in 1975. So how old was I? I was 8. I don't even remember. I remember her crying, which never happened. She's so stoic. But I didn't know the woman because she was in Cleveland and we just didn't go there. And that's where my curiosity is for that side of the family is really all over there. But I mean, I didn't have any trauma. I didn't have any trauma. I had very strict parents. But to me, that wasn't traumatic. Now, other people would say that was traumatic in their experience, their POV. That would be traumatic. But for me, it wasn't. You look at the Adelson children, Rob, if anyone had trauma in that family, it was him. Charlie's was of his own making, and Wendy's was of her own making. I mean, she got a free ride to Miami Law. She got the man of her dreams, even though she hated him from the get-go. Everything she did, she sabotaged. Didn't matter what it is. She didn't really want to work. She wanted to be a corporate lawyer's wife, not a professor's wife. She wanted to help run a charity and do crap on the side like it was the PTO. And that's all she wanted. Charlie was an addict, is an addict. I 100% believe he's an addict. He acted so, look how crooked my finger is. Oh my God. The arthritis. He acted so impulsively. And look at him now. He's hardly human. The clawing of the food is just hard for me to not recall. And Rob, he got shat on because he had morals. By his whole family got shat on. Roseanne says her family has succumbed to division over the past 20 months. It's so sad. I mean, like, you got 191 people on here, and at least 10 people in the chat have said that they have alienation and division in their family. So it's 10%, right? 5%. Hey, tinfoil hat. And it says, hi, everybody. I'm freezing a big batch of spaghetti sauce. Good for you. You love this song, right? John's song's good too. John's song, like, he completely took it different than I did. So that was great. I'm going to play his in a little bit. Oh, I had an amazing child, no trauma, but I'm estranged from siblings for all sorts of reasons. I wish I could find that article. I'll have to go back and look. That article that talks about, I think it was a YouTube. The siblings, I think it was a YouTube. I think it was a video I saw. And it talked about when your parents die and siblings disconnect because your siblings were your anchor. You didn't have the, you don't have the anchor anymore. When my dad's parents died, my grandparents, my grandfather died in 2003. Most of the children, the men of the 10, one died years ago. So 9 living. The 3 men of the family lived elsewhere. One lived in Korea, one lived in like the East Coast of Florida, and then my dad. But the 6 women all lived in Louisville and its surrounding area. And they created their own anchors. It's amazing when you think about it. But in my family, the parents died, it all falls the hell apart. Everything fell apart. Leslie says it's true. Sucks that my sibling, or Blue River says it, and I are not close like we used to do. All my decisions, they felt a betrayal from me, and as you can imagine, we barely speak. Some siblings remember their childhood differently. Oh, I guarantee you mine did. They had no problem telling me about it. So, and I listen because I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't get it. But because I didn't get it, siblings didn't like me. Is what it is. I'm almost 60, so I don't really care. That way I don't care. But I cared because my parents cared. They wanted everyone to get along. It's just hard to watch. Siblings don't usually have the same parents. Mine do. We all look alike. So yeah, we do have the same parents. Wendi has made them totally depend on her alone. Very unlikely they would ever turn on her financially. Think about that. I mean, I don't know much about the Jewish mother and relationship, but I can only see what Donna's provided. I can't imagine if there is Jewish guilt the way there's Catholic guilt, what that will be like for those 2 boys. Be interesting. You love romper rooms. So did I. Romper stomper. This whole thing is about romper rooms. Saying hi to everybody. I think some find it easier to blame, says Janet, and go no contact than look at themselves. Sad seems very common now. 3 sisters that don't speak to me because I'm nice to my 94-year-old mom. See, that's what we had. So sorry, Janet, but I'm glad you love your mom. My mom would have gone in front of a semi for me, but my dad was jealous of us. How sick is that? I don't understand it. I just don't. I'm so sorry. We know these boys are very smart and intelligent. They're going to figure it out all in due time. Curiosity is a thing. You can't tell me it isn't. You, I mean, I love my stepson. And he was adopted by Chris and his first wife, she's since passed. And it was years after she died. She had 2 different kinds of lung cancer, poor woman. So I think it's like 9 or 10 years she's been gone now. And years after he went and found his biological family. He would never have done it if she were alive. And I would never have thought he was curious, but he was, and he did. And bless his heart. Wendy's depriving those boys of a whole nother family and did not give them the choice. I think they're going to be mad one day. Oh, I think they will. Wendi Adelson, Jarrell, Jillian, whatever, Janiqua, whatever her name is this week, she's going to learn how long life really is. Because when your kids don't want to talk to you, I'm sorry. I mean, that's the whole reason for life. It is. Now, I've never made my children the center of my life. They'll tell you that. But I cannot imagine. Like, that's my future. They say when you lose your parent, you lose your past. And if you lose a child, you lose your future. So if your children are not talking to you, it's like a death. It is a death. You're just not aware of it. Crazy, Leanne. You had my son in Romper Room. Good for you, Rosie. I think there is something in the genetics of a lad and his mom being upset. Like seeing her freak out over a spider often makes boys phobic of spiders. Oh, yeah. It's going to be like the Bee Gees. Did I ever tell you my story of the Bee Gees? You know, I love Barry Gibb. I love the Bee Gees. And the Bee Gees had a business, right? They're the 3 boys, Barry, Morris, and Robin. And then they grew up and they each got married, cases multiple times. And when they did so, they had wives and children, and they became 3 separate businesses. And Barry talks about that. It was the transition from, like, they each went solo, right? They each had solo albums. And it said that was the transition from learning. It wasn't just the siblings anymore. It was 3 businesses with the wives creating input. Think like John Lennon and Yoko and what that did to the Beatles and how it broke them up. Same thing when you get a girlfriend. What is Wendi going to do? I'm sure they're dating or want to date. And if they're not, they're dating in front of her. They're dating behind their back. What is she going to do? When the girl comes home and goes, hey, mom's an unindicted co-conspirator. And they're like, or the other parents are like, hey, I'm going to take your battery out of your car because you're not dating the son of this family, the Adelson crime family. You think those boys aren't going to have trauma? I didn't even think about that, Leslie. No doubt the Markel boys are very intelligent. I think they're playing into the current circumstances. Remember they were talking about chess and how good they were at chess? There are 4 siblings, myself, 2 brothers, and a sister. The baby youngest brother, I feel like we had a good childhood. The other 2 constantly complain. What are you expecting? Like, what are these children expecting from their life? That you didn't get the mansion? I don't understand why siblings complain. You didn't get the right birthday present? I don't know. I should totally invite Jorge on this show. Yeah. I think that's going to create a cease and desist. Dawn waited so long for. I had Miss Marcia, but every location that had romper room had their own teacher. Mine was Miss Marcia. So funny. Marcia Kaplan. She died. She was actually Jewish. She died of breast cancer years ago, early 2000s. You want the boys to hurry up and be 18. I know they're 17 and 15 now. And I mean, the rebellion that must be taking place internally, even if it's not like, even if murder talks about it, when you have a boy and his mom and you don't want to upset her, but you want to date. But who's Wendi going to approve of? Oh, you meant my fancy new. Oh, no, it wasn't Molly inspired. Wasn't Molly inspired. Nope. I wish it was. She doesn't watch. She does not watch. One turned 17 in July and the youngest turned 16 in October. Ooh, and those checks are going to end. She got a year and a half till those checks end. Thank you, Harriet. I try to be. I was a teen mom coming from a Catholic family. We were engaged, but they did everything possible to keep us apart. Don't understand. We already had our son. My sister tried to. What? How would your sister try to change your life? What is it with people and names that they want to change the names? That is traumatic. Can't say it isn't. Hey Razzle, how are you? Wendi has no friends. What is she gonna do when those kids want to date? Here comes the prom. Sadly, trauma will hit them later in life. Resentment, anger. She may end up not in jail. She'll end up in her own lonely, narcissistic jail. 300 men. Cease and desist are garbage. What are they going to do? I had no doubt Wendi is in her own private hell, regardless if she's ever held accountable. Coercive control. How are you doing? Family is complicated, and the bigger the family, the more chance. You have 10 siblings. So you're one of 11. Like my dad, damn. Oh, Chris is building a house, not Keith. Good for Chris, man. Chris Stapleton is one talented dude. It's like Wendi is the family's Jesus, not to be ironic. I don't know who is more manipulative. Oh, I think Wendi, hands down. Hands down. She was able to hype up her mother, who then hyped up. Oh, no, no, no. Nope. Wendi knew exactly how to twist her mother. You can't tell me that she knew exactly how to get her mother to do her bidding. I need help nursing a child I'm no longer nursing. That is that woman. My cousin had the Sonny and Cher dolls. Oh man, I had Donnie and Marie. I love Patty and ChatGPT talk. I love ChatGPT. I don't use it as an attorney. It organized all your medical records for the last 2 years for your disability case. See what I'm saying? Now, once you put all that medical record in there, it's open AI, right? So that's kind of a challenge privacy-wise, but kudos to you. I wonder if ChatGPT would tell us conversations Donna and Charlie would have if they could talk to each other. I could try that. That's funny. Narcissistic personality, Dawn says, is triangulation among siblings and favorites, disconnection, alienation, especially if you're onto them even as a child, you lived it. Two rules for using AI are never talk to it and never tell it take on a role. Those things are the quickest way. I would never telling you to go lick a plug socket. Oh, it's pronounced Zaddy. Zaddy. Got it. Thanks, JBZ. That goes back to Jewish grandparent names. Hit the like button to the right. Helps the algorithm. Thank you. Say, are we close? No offense to any therapist there. Therapists are telling people to cut family out of their lives. It's all their fault. And today's youth have no accountability. It's not all, but it's many. Well, can't disagree. I am a big believer in talking to your friends, but what if you don't have any? I'm such an introvert, and I know you all don't believe it, but trust me, I am. And it's really hard. Who do you trust anymore? So, in my case, I'm Catholic. You can go talk to a priest, it's free, and have your conversations under seal. I've been to a therapist. I remember her name's Patty. And I didn't go to her name's Patty, but a gentleman referred to me. And she helped me so much. And the first thing she said when I walked in there is, don't get comfortable. You won't be here more than 10 sessions. And I knew I liked her already. And she wasn't kidding. It wasn't a relationship that lasted more than 10 seconds. I don't even think it lasted that long. I had one mission in mind. She helped me with it. I left. Who could not love that? And all she did was help me with basically decision treeing my life. Like, if you do this, then this happens, then that happens. But I'm a person who needs input. I do. And that's why the conversation with Leslie was so inspiring and informative for me yesterday, because I need input from other people. Right now, all I do is work in this like office warehouse. I don't really get a lot of input from other people, a lot of outsourcing my thoughts, but I don't ask ChatGPT for it. I want a human to say, well, if you do this, that's what this is going to look like. And it worked. Rebecca thinks the boys are brainwashed. I mean, we don't know. I mean, all of our parents brainwash us when it comes to that. Like you have a baby, you raise it how you were raised if you want. My children were raised Catholic. They don't all practice Catholicism. They were all baptized Catholic. In the Catholic Church, once Catholic, always Catholic, but they don't practice that, and I don't push it. But I mean, in that case, I could have brainwashed them in Catholicism, just chose not to. But you brainwash them to be carnivores, or you brainwash them, if you're vegetarian, to be a vegetarian. I mean, that's what parenting is brainwashing. My thing with them is she has eliminated one parent. Literally. That's where the brainwashing, I think, comes in. To the point where you're not supposed to go see where they're buried. They already know he's being buried. Like, why is that a problem for them? Why is going to see Dan's grave in Canada a problem for Wendi? Why would you not allow that? Why would they have to do that behind your back if they do it? That to me is so insanely controlling. It's the opposite effect of what she wants. Like, if she just said, go ahead, go see your dad, what is that going to do? Is she afraid the Markels are going to be standing over top of him and talk about Dan? And then all of a sudden, like Jeffrey Lacoste said, but we didn't get to hear further because they didn't bring it into evidence, that the boys could have recall? That's the only problem with all of this for Wendi Adelson, is those boys remember what happened. No different than I asked last time I was on. Katie Magbanua's children were older than the Markel boys. Do they have any recall for what happened between Katie and Charlie? PewDiePie, believe it or not, one of the better AI. I've never heard of it. Publicly, that's what the Markels are saying. Guarantee you privately into Tallahassee DAs. Oh, well, I'm only talking about publicly. I'm only talking about what they do publicly because that's what we know. And they, to us, to everyone, to the world, the only side of rage that we saw was Phil walking away from his remarks of his victim impact speech and looking and staring down Harvey Adelson, which we were there for it, Rebecca and I, and Georgia Peach. We were absolutely there for it. Other than that, it was the only rage we'd seen. And he just stared down Harvey. And Harvey didn't even have the balls to look up, that shrunken shell of a human. My daughter can talk all the balls of a pool table if she's in the mood. It's not hard to squeeze a word out of her, and she's in her 20s. The Beckhams do have a bad view. The son's wife is worth more than the Beckhams. Yeah, but who cares? Like, I mean, my God, you all have castles at some point. Does it even matter how much money anyone has? So weird. JBZ says it's 111 in Palm Springs. Good God. I was just thinking the same thing. Get over yourselves and your feelings. Your feelings will lie to you, and they are totally subjective. These boys are going to get curious eventually. I mean, YouTube's 24/7 on it. She can't control their lives forever. They're going to get girls or boys, depending on how they roll. They're going to go to school. She can't stop them from going to school. It's paid for. Also, Donna mostly raised the boys before her arrest. Wendi was out there whoring around. My mother told me I was cursed more than once. Tater. I said, well, aren't we? Didn't it start with Adam? Yeah, we did. My sister and I used to take the cars out at night and look at houses we liked. Oh my God. Would never have taken my parents' car. I remember when my dad walked into my bedroom and was like, hey, where's Michael? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, Mom saw the car go down the street. And I was like, shut my door on your way out because I don't want to hear any of this. True crime wifey, not Wendi giving out her magical tune. Tater says, I totally understand that I don't think anybody in my family likes me, and it hurts like hell, but I've decided I like me, and more importantly, God loves me. That was actually today's homily from the priest was about that. Was that when Christ called the 12 apostles, he's so funny. I'm going to ruin it, but he talks about, several of the apostles were fishermen and they never seemed to catch any fish. And that Christ chose not Matthew to keep the treasure or keep the purse for the group. He chose Judas Iscariot, knowing Judas Iscariot was going to betray him, and that he gave him the test, the respect of letting him hold the money. And he blew it, of course. But it was like he called people who were completely unworthy. And isn't that what happens every day? Like, none of us are worthy. But of course, God keeps us here and keeps us going. So that's exactly what it was talking about today. I knew a bunch of pagans in England that go up to Stonehenge on the solstice. I only went for the music and drugs. Not the magic. Dude, I have that poster. I have the poster of when I went to England when I was 18. I have the poster of the solstice where the sun comes up through the stones. They treat her like shit. I don't know. Patty, my mom has always cared for my younger sister, my older sister. She says it's not true. On pictures, you see her leaning away from me. I'm so sorry, Rosie. 1-star review of that school. Waldorf school. My sister has always been my best friend. We fought sometimes when we were younger. There's almost always at least one whipping post child in every family. I know, but I would just like to ask my parents more about it. Like, I would like to know. I just have those kind of questions. Talk about losing kids in a fire. About 6 or 7 years ago, I had an interview with a future daycare parent who lost 2 kids in a fire. When she told me the story, I couldn't stop crying. Oh my. Remember that lady who lost her boyfriend? Was it South Carolina or North Carolina? I think it was South Carolina. And the boyfriend, maybe not, I forget. But the boyfriend put the ashes, and the ashes were still hot. And her parents died and her children died in the fire. Does anybody remember that? Like, I remember her being on Oprah. Tater says, my mother isn't a nurturing person either, but she likes my brother more than me because he was a rule follower. I was always asking why. Well, maybe if you stopped asking why. Tinfoil's the same husband for 40 years. Wow. Yeah, Christians should not be degrading other faiths. I don't understand that. I grew up Catholic, but I married a Baptist family, and boy, were they mean. They were so mean to me that it's always made me very cautious about what I say about other faiths and how I feel about it. I really don't care where you go because I'm a libertarian. I don't care. Um, all I can do is pray for anybody. I don't, you have plenty of Catholics that aren't really Catholic. We call them the cafeteria Catholics. I'm a cafeteria Catholic. So, I don't know. I was affected by my 96-year-old mother's childhood trauma from World War II and life in a communist work death camp. I got the brunt of it. Still to this day, sad I look like a cow after my 3rd birthday. After your 3rd baby. She said, sad I look like a cow after my 3rd baby. Your mother said you look like a cow. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say. Your mother was in a communist death camp. You were definitely affected by your mother's childhood trauma. There is no words for that, dear. I'm so sorry. Whoa. I put myself through college and paid for everything from the age of 15, worked on a farm. It was never enough. I wonder, I know what my parents wanted from me because I literally had that conversation. What do you want from me? What did you want from me? But I always wonder what some parents want. And if there's just massive communication, or do they really just not like you? Or were they child of the Depression and they just got pregnant and didn't want to have any more babies and take it out on you? I always wondered. Ooh. Oh my God, Patty, I don't want to think anything of myself, but my other sisters don't look anything like me. They say I'm not part of the family. Well, have you thought about getting a test? When I was 14 and my sister was 17, she told me she was pregnant and said, "Huh, dad's gonna kill you." Murder. Always the supportive one. I'm so sorry for all of your pain you've been dealing with, working on yourself and healing those tender years, and loving yourself, doing the work. Abuse stopped with me. Rosie says, I prefer peace. Now, I think that is a big, I'm so glad you wrote that. I think that is a big thing. I prefer peace. You see that all over Instagram and Facebook. Now I don't speak to my sisters, my mom, or my brothers. My mom co-signed for them, gave them houses, and me nothing. But I prefer peace, so I don't speak to them. I think that's a big deal. I don't speak to my sisters. I prefer peace. I do. I just have, what do I have nothing to say. But I also don't feel lost. I mean, I'm reading here that some feel lost. I don't feel lost. My children felt lost. They grieved, but I did not. Not for that. My husband is the oldest of 10, and he had his siblings are as thick as thieves. And I have 3 brothers and have issues with 2 of them. I wonder what odd numbers do. I wish I had had 4. I think an even number would have been easier for the children. Christine, spiritual abuse. My mom said, "What if Jesus comes?" I was going to the beach in high school with my friends, and of course, I was going to wear a 2-piece bathing suit. It had, your mother's 96. It had to have been a different time. Had to have been a different time. And it's not funny, but I can remember because I went to Catholic school. And so if we had dances like once a month, but there was always the nuns saying, keep the Holy Spirit between the 2 of you. So I was like, I heard all of that. What a wildest Reiner would not want that. He was crazy liberal. He was crazy liberal, but dude, those kids, like, they're completely hauling ass on that brother. I love it. JBZ said she was adopted. Shame on AJ. He makes enough to go for blood money. Why do you think he did what he did after he was trying to save Nick? Oh my, yeah, I think that's kind of a couple comments in there. But AJ deserves, to make a living. He does. I wouldn't work it for free. Oh my gosh, Tater. I had to pack my bikini in my glove box when I would get to my friend's house. I would change my one piece. Look at you, rebels. The Reiner family gave him a golden parachute. It was Jack and Romy. Good, I got it. My parents weren't perfect, but they were great role models for us. We had some drama, but no trauma. You were born in Toledo, Yankee. I guess we should sit here and be thankful that our sister isn't Wendi. And Donna and Harvey aren't our parents, right? Doesn't someone always have it worse than you? Going back to one of your topics, more reason Jack Campbell needs to step down. That is never happening. We need someone that will prosecute Wendi before the kids forget everything the Markels pass on. I agree. I don't understand this whole logic. Can Jack Campbell really be afraid? No one believes John Lauro is going to represent Wendi in a trial. So who would be the one? Who would be her attorney? Who would she bring in that could out-talk Jack Campbell in Georgia? Tallahassee Lassie says, our vet son is 100% disabled due to PTSD. He cut us off, thinks we send stalkers. Oh, well, that's different. That's very sad. That's so sad, Tallahassee Lassie. I'm so sorry. I felt traumatized at age 10 when my grandfather died. He was the most favorite person in the whole world. You love him more than your parents. He's probably your savior. Those Hollywood parents have weird metrics for success. It's certainly not happiness. No, instead of dealing with his son, like, we don't know what really went on, but he gave him a movie. It's so weird. The whole thing is so weird. And why Nick Reiner thinks he's going to get out of this, let's face it, he's not getting the death penalty. But he went showered, didn't clean up really, and goes and gets a drink at the Circle K or wherever the convenience store he was. Leisure Linda says, CrimeCon is in Orlando. I bought my tickets. How much are they? I am not paying a lot of money for that stuff. I'll tell you what. Sorry, but if it is more than $5, I'm not going. How much is it? Oh my God. You've lost, no offense, people. I'll go hang out. Look at this. $2.99 is sold out already. Limited quantity, like 5. They probably get 5. Then the standard advanced enjoy discount, advanced tier pricing on standard all access weekend badge. Standard badges provide an all access experience. Weekend has to offer only a limited number of badges. Then the $8.49 is already sold out. Enjoy discounted advanced tier pricing. Price will increase when this tier sells out. $900. We need to start our own. This is Crime Con. God. A gold VIP badge is one of the best ways to experience. Gold badges are limited. Oh my God. Advance rate $1,900. Oh my God. What in the Hades are we doing here? Sorry, people. I'm not spending that much money. Holy shit. Oh my God. I think Nick Reiner will get his trust, so brace for Alan Jackson and maybe freedom for Nick. Oh, he's not getting out. He's not getting out. Hollywood is drugs and sex. Parents should be shielding their children from it for as long as possible, not getting them casting or writing roles. Issues started when your parents died because they were the anchor. They say Kubrick fled Hollywood, never to return after he caught a male lead with his daughter on set. Then he wrote Eyes Wide Shut, which is a whole other. Ugh. JBZ says they'll use her, Wendi. Is that who you mean? Until they can't. Jewish mother here. Please do not compare anyone to Donna. Most Jewish mothers don't offer their sons-in-law. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Some men are jealous of the children because before the children came along, the wife babied the man. Then the man doesn't get that attention anymore, and then they get jealous. Oh, they're definitely Jewish in name only. You can't be of any faith and have anybody murdered. It's just crazy. Everyone remembers their childhood differently. It's not too much what happens to you. It's what you do with it. Tater says, when your child alienates you, it's worse than divorce and worse than death. Yeah, because it's never ending. It's pain. Murder says, Alan Jackson is a disgusting scumbag who has had victims of SA and torture arrested and ruined innocent lives. He really has. My sister and I were also adopted, and we knew we had a brother. When I graduated from high school, I asked my godmother for his address. I wrote him a letter, and a week later, he showed up where I was. How did it go? Oh, yeah. Meghan Markle did to the royal family. That's the other thing. Equal yokes, people. When you get married, one thing I never learned, equal yokes. There's a reason why same political ideation, same religion ideation. It's too hard to be married to someone completely the opposite of you. Sand says there is estrangement on both in my family and your husband's. Leslie says, when I interviewed a forensic psychiatrist who was testified in over 300 trials, he said those boys will get girlfriends and they will be asking questions. They have to. Because you would want to know who you're dating. You want to know why someone, I mean, let's face it. Like if I were to date, God help me, but if I were to date, how they eat and how they hold their fork, like it would be so obnoxious what I would choose to date at this point. No. I'm all about Seinfeld. How you eat your peas should be the number one question when you pick a mate, let alone when you find out they come from a crime family that is not the Gottis. Like the Gottis, it's easily understandable. But this is not the Gottis. This is a big deal. This is still ongoing. You could be planning a wedding and Wendi get rushed out by Jack Campbell at any moment. You had a lot to catch up on, Debbie. What did she say? Tally French. We must call out scumbag lawyers all the time. I just don't like defense attorneys. Even though I needed one, I still don't like them. Wonder what the boys' last names are. Look, you can do your own research on the Instagram. Just go look through Instagram, dig that rabbit hole. You'll see. I can't wait for them to get a girlfriend and that ask a bunch of questions about their dad when he will boot her out of the universe. I hope the boys look like Dan and she sees his eyes every time. One does. Brian Hooker's son changed his last name. Wendi has manipulated everyone her entire sick life. Well, even who she talked to on the phone driving down Truscott, the guy from England. Everything she did was a manipulation. Mm-mm. Not allowing the kids to visit his grave is very strange. The whole thing is strange. I mean, I can understand immediately after the murder, it, pretending they're innocent, that she wouldn't want them to go to Toronto for the funeral, but she hated them. She would never go to Toronto for the funeral. $120, you're right. Hoping Donna lives for 120 years. The boys are using the internet for school, says Arm and Fence. Surely they now already know the chatter about their mother. They have to. It would have to be. My ex lives in Edmonton, but their house is up for sale. I wish I could look up Canadian homes. It's really hard. Thanks, Tally French, very much. What's going on with Charlie's appeal? I want him to flip. Well, it's months. I can't believe it's taking this long. I thought it would be a lot faster. Did you all hear about the plane crash near airport in Butler? Butler where? Is that the one near Kansas City? Oh, yes. An acquaintance of mine, one of her really good friends' son was on that plane. Yep. 12 dead in the plane crash on skydiving outing in Missouri. And one a Tallahassee family here in town, their son was killed. Yep. She sent me a prayer. We have a prayer chain. So she sent that to me earlier. His last name was Thacker. Thackerer. I don't think I know them. I know there's a doctor there that's Thacker. Um, I don't see any names. Hold on. So this is saying it says investigators pieced together what caused Sunday's deadly crash. The aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff. Never good. The plane was carrying skydivers just up the road from the crash site. Family members waited. One man spoke but did not want to be identified, said his son was among those killed. Said he was rushed to Butler from Kansas City area after learning about the crash. My son was on the plane. He had a new business, 2 baby boys. Everything was good. I just don't understand what happened. So I do know that there is a Tallahassee connection. Funny, I'm Methodist and married a Catholic, and they were mean to me. He tried to scam the house insurance, but never knew his stupidity would end up killing his children. I remember that. You absolutely can vent, Jude. You're welcome. Well, thank you, Jen. Very nice of you. I think some parents weren't wired to be parents, was what I was getting at, let alone single parents. I agree. And I do think it was a different age. My parents were born in the 30s. So their parents were born, I think, in the 19s. My grandparents were born in the 19s, a very different time. Most of that was survival, not nurturing. Nobody was talking about like Princess Kate, the early years, right? The early years was a byproduct. You were lucky to get food, let alone nurturing. You were Catholic and married a Baptist youth pastor. My old pastor and former boss told me my name was erased from the books. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That is just insane. My granddaddy was a mean drunk until my mom was age 11, and then he got saved and became a preacher. He was still pretty crazy, but he wasn't a drunk. Good for him, Tater. Oh, did ya? I do genetics testing, but I mean, you can't look at my parents and be like, she's not one of us. Let's see. My mom said that to me too. You prefer peace, says Blue River. I do wish my sibling could move on and build our relationship, but I cannot force them, nor can anyone can. They want to have to. Until then, I am enjoying my peace. You're adding joy. Good for you, Dawn. I mean, that's all you can do. You can't control what other people do. I don't like that chick. That chick that has that book, like Let Them, can't stand her. I'm sure she's a very nice person. I just don't believe in just let them. I mean, you have to make an attempt. Like one gal here says she talked about forgiveness to her children. The children rejected, but you have to try. I mean, it's your kids. And enjoying the companionship of my friends and my spiritual family. Good for you. I mean, that's all I have. That's all I have now. My 2 siblings that I do have a good relationship with, they're in Pennsylvania. I only go up once or twice a year. I mean, I'm almost 60. How long can that continue? So it's really all about my friends here and my husband. It really is. I mean, that's become so important right now with my husband's condition. AJ's 850 an hour. He's gonna charge more than that for this boy. No way. No way is it only 850. Patty cake rebels. AJ is part of a firm. I would think the firm decides how much a client pays. There's no way it's only going to be 850. Seeing those videos, no way. My dad would just turn off his hearing aid. Yeah, we got it good. Good for him. Good for him. I mean, you got to cope. Tally says, I got to turn down the air conditioner. It's real hot in here. I'll be right back. I have the AC set on a timer, so it's very, very hot. There's no way that man's only charging 850. No way. It's crazy. My parents sued us after she passed for her money. I haven't regretted a moment of never speaking to her entire family since. Water is thicker than blood. The other thing Bling says about Nick is that he should have had a huge inheritance from the grandfather, Carl. But what I don't understand is if the trust was available at 30, why couldn't he use it? I don't know. Because they're stopping it. The trustee is trying to stop it. Probably on the siblings telling them to stop it. Your husband was the ME who handled that case? Oh my God. We're talking about the fire. I'm not advocating for Nick Reiner. I've just been considering all these financial issues. Dawn says, CrimeCon is great, but expensive. Well, it keeps out the riffraff like me. What's going to happen? Like, I'm going to go to Orlando to see some of you that go if you want to get together, but I'm not spending that much money. I have to go to Italy. Okay. I have to go to Italy. 10,000 attended CrimeCon last month. That is a crazy number. You saw a lot of creators. Well, they were in Vegas. They were probably having fun in Vegas and just using it as an excuse to go. Even if that killer Nick gets that money, he can't afford Jackson. Go to Chicago at 2 a.m. if you really want a crime gun. Patty, trying to figure out the parents that knew George Pino was drinking and providing a buttload of alcohol to 11 underage girls and let them go on that party boat. Let their girls. I don't understand. But could you stop your kids from going? I mean, we're talking to people here in the chat that we're getting dating and whatever. Can you stop your kids from going? Or did they let them down, right? Or if you tell your kids you can't go, you're the mean parent. You can't win. You can't win. So, no different than Murdaugh. How is it different than the Murdaugh kids? You know, what is her name? Madison, I think her name was. The girl who died, or Mallory. I think it was Mallory. The girl who died on the boat. I mean, those parents will never forgive themselves for what happened, let alone Murdaugh. My dad's side landed in Kentucky from Scotland, hence I'm American. Yeah, my grandparents were Irish. You think Attorney Jackson will take the case? I read somewhere that he said he would work out something. Yeah, money. It will be money. Please pound the like button. Thank you, Dawn. Your dad was a terrific guy. However, one day I lipped off to him in high school. He launched a wet mop at me. Been impaled. I can't imagine dating a boy of Wendi Adelson. Like, I can't imagine. I know if it were my daughter, it wouldn't happen. Would not happen. Don't we eat all our peas off a knife like the Three Stooges? That's right. That's a whole Seinfeld thing. I just found a way Patty could do a proper quiz where it scans the chat for answers. Ooh, that would be cool. Wendy was jealous of Dan's girlfriend in New York. Absolutely, Jude. She couldn't stand Amy. Amy Adler was very successful. Remember when she saw Amy on the Zoom and she was pissed? Pissed. Because now Amy was probably nice. Lord knows she was smart and beautiful, and Wendy wasn't. She's not aging well. She's aging like wet toadstool. There I was personally really mad enough to leave someone to freeze to death. I don't know what that means, Herbie. Wendy was jealous of Dan. Of course, she would be jealous of anyone. Oh, that's definitely true. Nobody's questioning you on this, Christina. I stuck out my tongue at a nun when I was in second grade and I committed a sacrilege. 100% those nuns were so mean. I don't even know how the Catholic Church let that up. Talk about, you have the altar boy sexual abuse, but how about the nuns abusing all of us for years and years and years and years and years, years and years. 2 helicopters collided today too, I think in another country. Oh my. My first wife was Episcopal. Too much standing up, kneeling down, and sitting. Well, that's like being Catholic. It's just Catholic light. Thanks for the heads up. I purchased the lower package, and that's already $700. Hotel will be hefty. One-time experience. Well, good for you. I hope you have a blast. Hope you do, but I got to go to Italy. I can't afford all that. Murder says, I'm going to send the links to Patty. It could be really fun. It also has TTS so we could send messages that play as audio. That would be fun. You can't stand her either. That's her name. I tried not to say it. Just let them. Ugh. Oh my God. Is it? Can't. Another reason. Jackson will charge 1 to 2,000 an hour. I think that's how much John Lauro charges. Since he had Trump as a client, I bet he's 1,200, 1,500. 1,800 an hour, more like it. Ooh, what's her face? Plagiarism and Let Them was exposed, but she seems to have friends in high places and keeps popping back up. It's that pseudo science, pseudo therapeutic. Hey, one day it dawned on me, let me write a whole book about it. Your aunt is paying $800 an hour to an estate attorney. I think the trust, Nick Reiner's trust, trustees have been given instructions not to give money to a drug addict. I wish you peace and joy in your situation, Patty. Must be so difficult. That's why the other night I'm glad you were giggling and laughing. It was great. I do giggle and laugh all the time. I have to. So if you're just watching, my husband has dementia. It's early onset. I'm a day-to-day, hour-to-hour girl with him. The last 3 days have been nice. They have been nice. And I enjoy that. And I'm very grateful. If he would stop yelling at me, I'd spend more time at home. And these 3 days I have spent more time at home and he hasn't yelled at me so easily. You bought the gold this year. How much is the gold? $849, $899. It was $699 because you bought at CrimeCon. It's super expensive, but the people you meet and presentations, I mean, if I just can't afford it. Like I'm a single income family right now. Italy Italy definitely comes before Orlando. But I will go down to Orlando. Have dinner with you, Leslie. Hang out. The trustee didn't give the money at 30 to Nick as they said he was not mentally well enough in order to distribute. Well, it's probably smart. Yeah, they were cutting him off and moving him out. Isn't that part of the motive? I bought the $399 in years past. It's fine too, but the gold gives you better seating, leg room, and break areas. What do you mean leg room? Is this like an airplane? Why would you not have leg room at a conference? And go to Oakland for a real, go to New York City. Distribution was set at 1.5 at 30 and the rest at 350. So there's a lot more. Mallory Beach, that was her name. Thank you. It's a crazy number at CrimeCon. Seemed creepy malingerers dominated, but I wasn't there. Everyone should travel Europe even more so with kids. The culture shock is healthy. I didn't have culture shock. I had beautiful shock. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nick didn't get his money at 30 for a reason. $399 was just to get you in the front door, then the food and a bed. Yep. Spending my shekels on a trip to Tallahassee was on trial. Right, Melissa? Sorry, Wendy. Donna's already sold down the river. Mm-hmm. You got it. It's more than money. I agree. It's the image. He can't defend once he's found out Nick confessed. He did confess. Wendy was awful to Dan's mother. Maybe Karma will bite her in the ass, one of her sons. The girls were with the Pino parents for their daughter's birthday. Paul Murdaugh was driving his dad's boat. No adults. I don't know if the parents knew their kids were with Paul Murdaugh. Wendy is transitioning into Sylvester Stallone. The Reiner family were behind Nick, meaning they thought something. AJ went in and spoke to them, then came out and told the family something. Now they don't support him. He must have confessed big time. Wendy didn't want Dan, but she didn't want anyone else to have him, especially when those little boys were in. I mean, she was so jealous. I tell that story all the time. She talks about it. She went up. She said it in her podcast. She goes up to what is that? What's the store? Whole Foods, the glass wall, so you can see where you can eat and sit down. And Dan was in there with his laptop, and she turned around and took the kids to BurgerFi because she didn't want them to see their dad, because it was her last day and blah, 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 blah. I can't even imagine being so jealous of your kid and who your kid loves that you have to divert them and go feed them someplace. You got punched in the back by a nun the nuns, to me, it's so prolific, the physical abuse that those nuns carried out on behalf of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. You can't even begin to talk. Far, far, far more prolific, the physical abuse and the emotional and mental abuse that went on for decades with children. That is never, ever dealt with within the Catholic Church. I'm furious Murdaugh is getting another trial. He murdered his own and cleaned out innocent people. I just pray he just falls asleep with a broomstick up his ass. I really do. The family assumed Nick was going to say he can't remember and the drugs made him do it. AJ went in to see him. He didn't say that. It sounds right. Nick is not saying what AJ wants him to say. He comes out and tells the family, then he can't defend. Patty, I got back from Tanzania last week. You should go. How long is that flight? That flight's got to be a long time. But I'm so glad you had a good time. The money vanished because the family withdrew it. Once they found out via Alan Jackson, Nick had said something. All 4 years of high school, you were a rectory girl, answering phones and helping the cook serve dinner. I got paid $1 an hour and all the food and cokes. Watch TV too. Yeah, in our Catholic grade school, the girls weren't allowed in the rectory for, but boys weren't allowed in the rectory either. So there is that. Thank you, Brian's music. I appreciate it. I wouldn't release the money to Nick either. It reminds me of Cher's son. Yep, Elijah Blue. Remember that? She keeps trying to get guardianship over Elijah Blue. If I volunteer, my badge is free. We can go to Epcot and go to Italy. And I can get tickets. I can get you tickets. We can go. Go to Disney. I have a friend who works for Disney. Sorry what you're dealing with. My girlfriend is going through something similar with her onset. Really? I'm so sorry. Oh, they stack them in the rows in the ballroom so you don't have leg room. You have to climb over people because everyone sits on the end. I would have a panic attack. You would literally see this face in a panic attack. Here it comes. Christine says, I stole my teacher's penny loafers, Mr. Kiernan, and hid them in the desk. Then I left for study hall. He came and found me. I was smart, but no. If Nick got his trust fund money at 30, he'd be dead. Maybe they should have done it. They tried. CrimeCon was way too big this year. 10,000 people. But Orange, what do they call it? The Orange County, which I assume, I don't know how many people it holds. I mean, I've been there for Keller Williams conferences. It can host over 100,000 participants. Oh my God. It is massive. It's too much walking. It's a different day than when I used to go there for Keller Williams. I probably would get a scooter and go around on a scooter. There were people who would be on rollerblades and scooters for sure. It's too big. Hey, Susan Hicks, how are you? Once the shock wore off, Jack and Romy knew Nick killed their parents. I understood that Romy first reported Nick was likely the murderer. She did. She didn't even realize her mother was in the house at first. I cannot handle any yelling. I cannot either. Takes me back to my childhood. Does your husband like music? It switches another part of the brain. He does listen to music a lot. A lot of it is like meditative music. He doesn't like loud music. If that many people are going to, oh yeah, I think Leslie said it's owned by Fox News. Fox News does it. The Reiner kids were probably spoiled brats, but to be fair, the older son Jake did live away from LA and worked as a news reporter in Houston. I wholeheartedly believe, says Anne, the children, the Markel boys, will be like my father's alibi and remember. A Bruce. Well, that's what's his face happened to him. I can't think of his name. and I can't Google it. But he ate boys. You know who I mean? He died with a broomstick up his ass. It was good. Hey, that guy took one for the team right there. Patty, classical doesn't have to be loud. His brain will pick up on the frequency. It will help calm him more. I'll play that on my Amazon, my Alexa. He'd been in dozens of rehabs. The Reiners put Nick in many rehabs. You went on a silent retreat once with Catholic nuns. I can't do that. It's at the Shingle Creek Resort. Oh, it's not even there. $10,000 guests at one time. It's Rosen, the Rosen Conference Center. 10,000. So it's much smaller. The largest theater style is 9,500. Spent almost $700 for your daughter and me. Well, you're spending more this year. Elijah Blues. Well, look at his dad. The Allman Brothers. I mean, look at it. His dad was an addict. Talk about childhood trauma. I fear being in a packed room and someone like Pat Sanford speaks and lets out an excited fart. I fear being in a packed room. I just don't like crowds very much. I'd have to get a handicap sticker if I walked that far. There were people when I went, and Keller Williams would have massive conferences, and people would be on the rollerblades. I thought it was brilliant. Tim Boyle says, CrimeCon is too many people in one place. I took my daughter. I think, Leslie, you should get a booth. Can you get a booth? You should get a booth. How do you get a booth? Rosen Shingle Creek. Let me look at this and see what entails the platinum badge. The platinum. Oh, here we go. You got to see this. Private meet and greet. An experience you'll remember for a long time. Your platinum concierge will work to arrange a short private meeting with the guest or creator of your choice for pictures and autographs. This might be the best perk. Have access to special fast track like you're at Disney, which offers priority access to the primary meet and greet room. 7 fast track lane passes throughout the weekend. Oh my God. The platinum check-in. The platinum lounge. This is what I'd be about. Like, I'm all about the concierge. That would be nice. Merchandise ordering, email support. Breakfast with Beth Holloway. Breakfast with Matt Murphy. Breakfast with Dr. Bodden and Linda Bodden. Father Client was the principal of our high school. Sister Dorothy, the assistant principal. In later years, he told me how they used to take turns playing good cop, bad cop. Why is she trying to get a conservatorship? Because he's an addict and can't control himself. Dahmer. Yes, thank you. I didn't want to look it up. He took it on the broomstick. Rosie. Rosie O'Donnell. I saw pics of what's her lips visiting her daughter in jail. She just got a facelift too. Good night, Rosie. You don't want a booth, then you have to man it. You're a one-woman show. Platinum has leather recliners. Somebody's smart. Bougie break area, snacks, etc. You don't want to do a meet and greet? I would be like, why? No offense. Beth Holloway is a victim of a crime. I'm not going to go like, yo, Beth Holloway. Sounds so bizarre to do. I thought Cher was trying to keep EB's money because she hates his wife. Well, maybe that's true. You have to be invited to have a booth. How much is the platinum ticket? Hold on. Let me go back. There's platinum VIP and there's platinum VIP advance. They've already sold the advance at $1,900 a piece. Platinum VIP is $2,000 for 2 days. They'd have to have somebody literally carting my ass around. There's no way I would spend that much. No way at all. I never even heard from a concierge last year. Did you pay that much? Did you pay the $2,000 and get in? I would not spend the money to see Vinny unless he wore the peach shirt. The peach shirt would do it. Prepare for a compliment. Okay. You carry none of the macabre of true crime with you and would be a great speaker at crime for a how to let it go, live life, and still cover the criminals. Thank you, my 3 sons. It's very nice of you. The only thing a platinum badge was good for was getting to cut the lines. Leslie did have a good tip. She introduces herself to people, so she's getting on her phone. She explained to me that you have, wait a second. A booth is only $800? Do you have to buy the ticket plus the booth? You paid $1,900. Beth Holloway had some true crime show on Lifetime years ago. She was a good host on it. Most of those platinum things are for VIPs, well, or $2,000. I love chatting with Vinny. He was very engaging, but did he wear a peach shirt? You paid $1,800 last year. Dawn, will you adopt me? What constitutes a VIP? Not us. You have zero interest in a booth, $800. I don't even understand. Let's see. The official application to be an exhibitor is currently listed as coming soon because the application portal is not yet open. You can prepare by gathering information, your company name, brand name, audience size to ensure secure booth space. The moment applications go live, you should monitor the exhibitor page. Here's what that looks like if anybody has a bigger audience than me and wants to do it. CrimeCon brings thousands of highly engaged, passionate fans. baby cakes. I would only want to be selling houses. Like that would be my thing. Where do you live? I would be like, where do you live? Are you buying? Are you selling? Who do you know who's buying or selling? Like that's what I would spend that $800 for. Is that bad? You made up stuff in a confessional, too afraid to say I stole a quarter to buy a comic book? Crime Con determines who is VIP. For $800, I would get a booth and put a sign on it that says "Gone to lunch." Good for you, Tater. I'm sure you have to buy a ticket too. You can do Create a Row and do an app and be approved. That is free. You can do a Create a Row. I don't know what that means. You can do a Create a Row. What is a Create a Row? $75 to park in Toronto for the World Cup. That seems cheap. I'm taking off work when I go and make it a vacation. Men spend tons on golf. Fair play. There are 230 in the chat. Please hit the like. Create a Row is basically small peeps like you and me. They give you a free small booth. Oh, well, send me that because I'd still be selling houses. I'd be like, who's buying, who's selling, who's investing, who wants to move to Florida? I'd be all in it. All in it. Oh my God, I'm at the end of the chat. I wasn't even getting to my point. People, I didn't even get to my point of the chat. Oh my gosh. Herbie says, none said I was spreading germs, flicking my 1-inch. My dad used to make me clean my brother's room, said that women's work. Well, I didn't know. I was at the end of the chat, but I was like, Buttercups, like, what's new with Wendi Whopper? I don't have anything new. I just wanted to talk about the Alienation. I could specialize in criminal houses. That's how this started, was Trescott. That's how it started, was the Trescott house. That's all I knew. We need to get a Booth conspirators unindicted. I thought the point was Wendi and her STDs. No, I mean, I'm assuming she has some. John, that's awesome, but I want to hear you put the patties together. Patty's booth would be an auction booth. Oh my God. So, all right. What house was that? Hold on, let me look. That was like 75 text messages ago. People don't realize it's Sunday. 22. Hold on, you got to see this house. It's on Trescott. It has nothing to do with the Adelson home. None of it. But Leslie sends me a text message. Wait. All right, I'm going to leave this up here. I don't care if you see our emails because I don't care. But it's perfect for hiding the address. Who knew? So I'm going to keep that up there. That's Chris's old address email. So you want to charge $695,000 for this house, and you can't take care of the driveway. Just so you know. And this house is up on a hill. That's why the slope. Look at that driveway all broken up. So, random girl, Leslie B, sends me an email or a text message last night. She goes, why is this house covered in shiplap? Can you see it? Like all of this shiplap is back there. It wasn't always like that. This owner did it. It's all shiplap. And I was like, because they like to dust. Look at all that shiplap and all that tile. Imagine cleaning all that tile work. That is a lot of work. That and they didn't take care of the driveway, the big thing. Look at this. It is in a lot of shiplap. Like, look at this. Why is this here? Why is this like this? Why is this a panel within a panel? I got to go see this house now. It's all shiplap. Oh, really, it's all the same photo. Why is that like that with that? What are they covering up? God, that is so much dust. It's in the bedrooms too. You can see the outline of the person taking the picture. That is way too much. Once that's up, what do you do? Like, you can't, that's worse than paneling. Took the washer and dryer out of the bedroom. Oh my God, the whole bonus room's covered. They didn't clean the ground. Oh my God. It is everywhere. It's one hell of a hill coming at you. It's a generator. The garage is lined up. Why do they have a dresser in the garage? Mm-mm-mm. Patty, me and Blue can all share a table booth. We could. Like, I would do that. I would do that. What's the Trescott house worth today? They haven't done anything to it. They haven't done a thing to it. I mean, you go there, it looks like the day the man was shot. 100%. So I'm going to leave that on. So I can't believe they still have the pictures up. So I'm going to leave that up so you can see. This is when she sold it. But when you walk outside, it looks exactly the same. One of those trees in the backyard is what hit the house. Remember, that's the owl photo. See it? So it's the owl photo or the owl frame. So this door goes into the garage. You got to step up to go outside of the garage. It's the master shower. Look, there's a stump. I wonder if that was the tree that hit the roof. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So if you remember, there was a tree that hit the roof on the permit that I found, and right there is a stump. So this is the backyard now, and that's the area where they said they saw people walking through. Do you remember? Raiding homes, that's right. But do you guys remember that it was someone in that apartment complex, which is behind here? True Crime Wifey is really smart about this, said they saw people walking back here. This whole entire area looks different now. The soggy people, right? That is where the money was hidden. Do you have any pictures of the inside Wendy's Whoppers rental and tally where she absconded? Let me look. Let me look. That was on Aqua Ridge. That's it. But if you drove up to it, it would look just like this right now, except more overgrown. They were described as looking like they were walking through the water. Yeah, there was a culvert back there or a ditch. Hold on, what was that house number there? Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, they covered it up. This is the outside of it. Let me see if I can pull it up in the listing. They covered up on Google Street View. For obvious reasons, I'm sure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's the inside. That's the beginning. It's doing a slideshow. Hold on. The front. Kitchen, of course. It's where the bedroom would have been. The garage. There's only 12 photos. Let me see if there's another one where closer to when she lived there. This is 2019. Wait a minute. Yeah, it was 14. Here's 12. She left it. This was re-rented August 26th. So a month after he was killed, 6 weeks after. So her lease was just about up when he was killed. They rented it for $17.95. He only has one photo in there. You can't see the inside. The only recent photos are from 19. So there's no recent photos in the listing. Hi, not a Warren George. I went to a soiree at my daughter's last night and wowed another true crime fan who I met there with my knowledge of the Adelson case. I was thrilled to dolly rags. That's fun. I mean, it's murder, but it's still fun. Everyone say hi, Wendi and George. His name is George. It's not Jorge. She in Texas? Yeah. Yep, her lease was up. Her lease was up. It's very sad. Wonder if you look at... Hold on. I'm going to look at the Google Street View and see if I can have that. What did John Smith say? He has Google Maps too. When we were talking about Gray Hughes and his Google Maps. So yeah, this will show you. Hold on. So you can look at this. I'll probably get dinged for it, but this is what I was saying when you walk up here. When you drive up, so they drove up this way, right? They're driving up, coming to down Truscott. Look at all this greenery. So full. You don't see anyone driving behind you, and then they go in here and make a left. You just don't see anybody. This is even fuller now. Let's see. This is what it was like in 15. Oh, let's do 13. So they were living there in 13. That's what it looked like when Markel, when Dan lived there. 15 a year after. So this is quite thick. And you see it right there. You can also see how narrow the road is. The road's very narrow. So she makes a 3-point turn right here. Right? So here's the power pole where the caution tape was, or the do not cross, right? So she sees this right here. Let me turn it around. She's coming up this way. Right? So there's the house. That's the pole. So she has to make a K turn or a 3-point turn coming up here. And then she's going to go up and go to Klein. It's further down. Speed bump. And Klein's up here and you make a right. And that's how she got out. So she made that K turn and then makes a right and gets out and goes back to Benton. That's what she did. Speed bump. Oh, those are fun. Who doesn't love a speed bump? See, those speed bumps were still there then. Speed bumps were there. This is not a shortcut. Drive down, drive down. That's the house right there. So these assholes turned out real quick, cut down the road, blah, blah, blah. More speed bumps to get to the end of Truscott. Right there. So this is Benton Road. This is where Dan's bench is. It's a rose garden in there. And there's the ABC liquor store. So she goes in there for a quick minute. There's a flooring store, liquor store. There's a Prius. Isn't that kind of sad? Prius right there. She goes up here, goes the whole way up to where she said she got gas somewhere, but we don't know where. She goes the whole way up. This is a distance. It's just a few miles, but I'm doing a Google Street Map. This is Wendy's Drive, leaving Truscott, blah, blah. So here's the interstate coming up, I-10. Don't know why Google has it smoked out there, but it does. So then you're going to turn up here under this interchange. Keep going to the next one. I would love to know which. So you're going to go this way. And you're going to go around here. Oh my God. And there was Mosaic in here. She went the whole way around. But Mosaic was, let's see. Right there. Mosaic's right there. 2013, it was still there. Tallahassee. Well, we'll get a Google Street View. Do you remember the Google video I did with the Root with her interview? Oh, you should send that again. I'll be shut. She stopped at that Circle K and ditched her. Allegedly. Goes in the liquor store and tells the hitman joke. I know. I wonder if the Odyssey had a full tank of gas too. I think that's just one big fat lie. But you're right. She could have thrown out that phone. Dan's Good Samaritan neighbor, well, he heard it and then he saw the car go past. Adelson's never thought the hillbillies in Tallahassee would ever figure anything out. I'm pretty sure Dan Markel went Armistead to his home after the gym. Sigfredo and Lewis went Benton Road, so they were driving toward each other on Truscott. I mean, he could have. They haven't showed that video where they were following him home like that. I should win a trophy, just keep Wendi a whore. Gray did entertain us by whistling while he was waiting for his goal to be reached before updating Allison's case. So not a total waste of time. The speed bump shortcut. So bad. Patty is shooketh, but that may well be the truth. I mean, it could be the truth. I think Wendi in fear she loses more opportunities to manipulate the narrative in the now growing men that her son, she's likely shitting bricks. She has to be. Welcome, my chauffeur. But Mosaic is right here. And that's where she walked in her stupid flats that she looked ridiculous in and had her special lunch. That's what she did. Under the overpass is where the license plate readers were and still are. Carolina is 5 minutes away from winning. Listening to Harvey was the most pain we'd endured. Yeah, it was a super delicious lunch. That's what she did. That's how she got there. And had her owl shirt on. But we're not supposed to guess these things. We're not supposed to put 2 and 3 together. We're not supposed to guess that these people are diabolical in how they think and what they've done to this man and his family. It wasn't lunch. It was an alibi. A whole delicious lunch. So sad. I just better cutting my lawn. I just better go in to get gas because I know I'm going to run into someone. No woman goes out for lunch looking like she's homeless. It's very sad. Tallahassee has pretty spots, Dina. Definitely does have pretty spots. Benton's beautiful neighborhood. I know exactly where you are, Patty. Never knew this was the area she was talking about. Yeah, she left. She went down. Well, she couldn't go down the road, so she had to make the K turn in a van. So you have no choice because of the width of the road. And then went up Klein. Not Klein. Is it Klein? I think it is Klein. Klein or Blythe, one of the two. But she didn't. There's that Blue River. She definitely didn't go there because it was the shortcut. I bet Wendi wishes she would just let this go. She probably can't believe we're still talking about it. She's homeless. Well, we are because she's still available. I mean, I guess STS did a show on it the other night, and I know other people have too recently, so it's like when Dirty Donna said outside your house and Jerkoff said 10 minutes away. Exactly right. And then she stopped at 18 different places, all which gave her a paper receipt. But we don't know about the gas thing. We don't know which gas station. We really don't know. I mean, it's kind of good that he's sending that money and spending her money. Even Charlie hated the shortcut excuse, and he is a dunce. That's what he did. Shortcut. She claims she paid cash for the gas. Makes no sense. She's not a cash girl. Nobody's paying cash for the gas because that's such a lie. Because even then, you had to go in and pay cash. You had to go in and pay cash. You couldn't just pay cash or pump and pay cash. The fact that she didn't react in sheer panic and horror when a cop walked into that restaurant after seeing the crime tape, which she wasn't concerned about because she said that on the stand, around her children's home is all the proof that Patricia needs. And if Wendi knew that her police interviews would be broadcast, she would have dressed better and looked better. I think they're waiting for the boys to read 18. I mean, they could be waiting for the 12th anniversary. Wendi told Georgia on the stand that she got gas. I think it's because she knows Georgia knows she stopped again before Mosaic. So the only place to get gas is Circle K's right there. And it's only that one on the right-hand side, right? So, hold on. The only place to go is that Circle K. It is Klein. It is Klein that she took. So, how do I do this? Oh, I want gas stations. Circle K is on this side. So if she's leaving, this is where the ABC is. ABC's right here. And then that first Circle K we saw, there's no gas station. The only gas station that's on that side of the road that she could go get gas is that one. That's it. There's a Shell station right here, but it's a real, she turned in here or turned here. This is a real bitch to get to, even coming from here and then get back out. She would have had a hard time getting out of this station. That's it. She either stopped at that Circle K or she's lying about everything. There's a Circle K here, but you can't make a left into it. You'd have to make a U-turn and come back up. She was not even getting the boys till 4:30 or 5. So stay home, shower, go to lunch, then the bourbon. It's so obvious. Wendi left ABC and then stopped at Circle K. Wendi took Blythe to Benton on the way to ABC after running into the crime tape. Klein goes to Armisen. Okay, thank you. It was Blythe. I wasn't sure which one it was. I know it's the first right when you leave. I don't believe she got gas. In fact, I don't believe a word that Biatch says. I've noticed a lot of arrests are in convictions, birthdays, anniversaries, or the event. She has to pull out some cash and fill up. Wouldn't you, even then? When exactly did she find out her kids were safe? She never really did. She called about having her friends pick them up, but she didn't. She the realtor called her, Lisa, who's a wonderful woman. Lisa calls her and checks on her and was like, "Hey, we learned there was a shooting on your road. Are you okay?" That was it. And their office is up here. It's back down this way. So the Coldwell banker that worked with her is up this way. Right in here. So the Circle K is right behind, the apartments are right here. It's right in here. That's Park. That's Blythe. It's right here. I think it's this house. And then there's the Circle K. Maybe there was another reason to stop there. Wait a second. True crime wifey. The apartments are here. The ditch is wrong here. Maybe there was another reason to stop at that Circle K altogether that has nothing to do with gasoline. Because look at the proximity to Ashford and the back ass end of that. They're along here, right? Circle K's here. Did Lisa Carey think Wendi was living? No, because she knew she was at the rental. Wendi complained about her ex. Dan lived on Prescott. Lisa and the other gentleman, who I won't mention his name again, who was the realtor who spoke on at the trial, knew Wendi before all of this. They knew each other before when they were buying the house. So that's why Lisa Carey knew that Dan lived on Trescott. They had known them while they were married. Both of them did. I would not have said a word to the cops until I had proof that my kids were safe. But think about that. Look at where that Circle K is that she would have had to, if she stopped there. She either picked up a phone or dropped off a phone. We know the guys just moved out. But what if there was something left behind here that she picked up from the day before that was here? Can I do a street view by dropping the little man from the corner? What could she see from that station? Yeah. Right here? So she comes out here. There's the ABC. There's the station. Let's go back to more dates. Let's go back to September 14. So that's where the Goodwill is. This is right after the shooting. The ABC, right? And the bank, and then the Circle K. If something was dropped at Circle K, Lewis would have mentioned it. Would he? Or she just wanted eyeballs on what was going down. Sigfredo and Lewis were already gone at 10:53, bus catching them ahead at I-10 at 10:55. Correct. I'm not saying that. I'm saying she stopped there. She stopped there. We don't know that they didn't stop there the day before. Doesn't mean anything. Wendi posted Facebook photo of her and the boys on Thursday, 7/17. It looks like the green Prius and Lewis in the background. What? Do you have that photo? Wendi posted her Facebook photo of her boys. I didn't know that. The burner phone ended up in the garbage, but it could have ended up in the garbage right here. Because she's like, oh, I got gas. I'm not sure I got gas. I might have got gas. And then the apartment complex is right here. The apartment complex is right next door. Didn't W say it in the form of a question? Yes. It looked like the Google car had gone right to the back of the gas station where she could have peeked through, maybe. So this is the side behind it. This is behind the Circle K. So they could have easily walked behind here. Grish spotted the location. I went there and took another photo to show it. I think I'm missing what that location is. Like Charlie stated on the jail calls to his loving wonder, just couldn't help herself. They can't trace a burner phone to the designated number called, can't they? Maybe that's part of the evidence not spoken and Lewis knows. I don't think she picked up anything at the Rickety K because they searched her van. She could have thrown away her burner phone or something else. If Wendi knew nothing, she'd have asked 1,000 questions. Disposing the burner makes sense. I mean, there's the trash right there. No one would have thought of that. And that would have been long gone. How do you not know if you got gas? That's right. She asked it in a question. I don't think he told all of anything. She was just being mega nosy. I think the guys were gone by that point. She wanted eyes on. There's an unidentified 850 tracker phone number in evidence. Well, there we go. I mean, if that's the case, then they would go right down here. This is where they're redoing all that work behind, and that's Truscott up there. It's right there. Sorry, it's right there. I've never done this. Now, when you go out there, it's completely different behind that because of the flooding. So it's the wall behind those homes on Benton. Benton Hills Nature Center. She knew she could peek through. I bet Georgia has all this and is just waiting. She didn't get close enough the other way to be 100%. So he was murdered on 4/14. Did they come back? Or on 7/14, did they come back? Wendy most likely met up with Sigfredo and Lewis on Thursday, 7/17. I also think Miss Parks and Ashford saw them casing dance the day before. It's like she circled the scene. She dressed that way to present as a disheveled, grieving ex-wife. I think I never even went back here and thought about that. About the gas station. Did I get gas? Never even occurred to me. She drove back there so she could see what was going on. Because when this happened, in my recall, I have to ask my friend whose office was right there, that this was all blocked off. So when that shooting happened, because they didn't know, you couldn't get through Benton after that. Like, it was there, but everything was backed up at that time because no one knew if it was a drive-by. No one knew anything. So you're right. She probably took up here and went here and said she got gas, but went behind it. Did I get gas? She thought it was just a tree. Lewis says in his proffer he saw Wendi on Thursday. He was murdered on the 18th. Oh, I'm sorry, the 18th. I don't know why I kept thinking it was the 14th. I think he saw Wendi too. Do you have that picture? There was a pathway between Ashford and Trescott. There isn't now. It's fenced off. He died on the 19th. I don't know. It was 2014. I'm Oh, that's funny. Look how much gas was. She easily could have gone back around there. That is funny. Why would she about visiting a gas station unless to hide her rubbernecking the scene? I didn't even think about that. That's why she lied about getting gas. But that's the only gas station. She couldn't have got gas anywhere else. She'd been there, but no receipt. And Georgia can't ask her in the other trials about it because she needs to save it for this one. And Jack Campbell doesn't think she knew it was the spot with the deepest car part to get a good look. I mean, this is weeks after the murder right here. Weeks. So let me do this again. Hold on. Let me see the depth between. I'm going to take it off because of, these dumbasses at YouTube. So she's right here. Okay. So right here is the house where this red point is. Right here. And Post Road, which I went down right here. Circle K is right here. Right here's Post Road, Ashford, where they're now, that's all blocked off. But that was a house. The house is right here. If you look overhead, it starts curling away. What does? It was the last spot you could look through, and then weird things and lawn in the way. Here? I don't know what he's talking about. So this is the entrance into the apartment complex right here. This is the back side of the Circle K. Right here. So they can walk through right here. So she would be able to see. She would have had to come down Post Road. Say she went to Circle K, but not go to Circle K. Lied about going to Circle K. She never went to Circle K. She came down to Post Road so she could see. You're welcome, Christine R. She never went to Circle K. She just went down Post Road. What's her name that defended Lewis that's on with Tim? She stated he's doing great. He got his GED. The Monica. She was the private investigator that helped him. She probably walked his she'd know that access. That's the one Post Road. So that's the one where you're doing this. So we're leaving Circle K. Right here. This is what she went down. She lied. She didn't go to Circle K. She went down here where this nature center is. And that is almost directly behind that house. Right here. Post Road. You can't see it directly, but you can see pretty close. Monica, yes. The pathway is the speed bump south of Dan's house and goes through the woods to Ashford. It's 1 to 2 houses south. Okay, hold on. Let me take it off of this. Hold on. Okay. All right, here I am. So Dan's house is right behind me. You think it's where the speed hump was? That's the speed hump. Thank you, Dawn. The pathway is the speed hump south of Dan's house and goes through the woods to Ashford. It's 1 to 2 houses south of Dan's. The pathway is still viewable but fenced. So that's his house right there. Hmm. Let's go back even further when there's less trees. No, I can't really tell. Can't really tell. The scary thing is, if this is all true, she knew the hit would be at the house. That's the level of detail. The other way, I'm going north. Oh, thanks. All right. My bad. So I go past the house. Okay. Let me do this again. Okay. So now I'm going north. They just built a house here. This is where I parked that day but there was a house there. No speed bump there. But where this vacant lot is, there is now a house. Two one one two. Okay. There's 2110. Oh, right here. She hasn't said that. I would think about it every time I was in the garage. Imagine what the man thinks it was. Right in here. Somewhere in there. Clearly, I can't find north and south, so I don't see that's going to happen. Right here. Back in here. Oh, I'm not showing you anything. Back in this way. But now I have questions about that. You have to disclose when a murder takes place before you sell a home. No, not in Florida. Other states you do, but not in Florida. The trigger for the old neighbor looking at the garage. I know. But now I never even thought about the gas station being a lie. I mean, I just never considered that was the only gas station. The other gas stations don't make any sense. And she didn't stop at a gas station. She stopped at. Why is it fenced off now? I don't know if True Crime Wifey's still on here. Why is it fenced off? I knew they were obviously redoing the whole flooding thing in the back. She never got gas. I don't think she went down the road. I don't even think I think she went down Post Road. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because it's 11:19. Appreciate you all. Didn't she say she bought, wait a minute. Didn't she say she bought glue to fix a toy? Blue River. It's late. Did she say that? She never got gas. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. During her various listen to chat. ChatGPT says, during her various testimonies and statements about the morning of July 18th, Wendi described making several errands before learning Dan had been shot. One of the stops she discussed was going to a store to purchase adhesive for a broken toy. The item is often referred to by case followers as super glue or glue to repair a toy for one of her sons. This was part of her explanation for her movements that she drove toward Truscott. Where would she buy that toy? There's no place. There's no place on Centerville to buy glue other than Publix. Bye, John. She stopped and bought super glue to fix a toddler toy. Dealing with the television, the Geek Squad, running errands, driving towards Truscott, being redirected by law enforcement. One reason the glue purchase gets discussed so often is that investigators and commenters have scrutinized nearly every stop Wendi made that morning, trying to determine whether her actions were ordinary errands or part of a broader effort. It literally makes no sense. There's no place to have stopped to pick up glue. She said the boys threw a toy at the TV. She lost the card vibrator. Bye, John. Oh, you thought it was ending. No, I was going to, and then someone brought up glue. It's going to take all of our jobs and overorder. I'm like, okay. So she did mention glue. No mother super glues a toddler toy. Broken toys are to be tossed. Especially since she didn't spend any money on anything. It's not going through. No normal mother unalives her ex-husband. There's that. Geek Squad spoke with the family members, including Charlie. She left the house. She stopped at a liquor store. She stopped at another store and purchased glue. There is no other store along the route. Did you ever see that thing about goblins? They had to hard program into all these AI models to never mention goblins, or else it's only talk about. There's no place to buy glue. She drove towards Truscott. The only place to stop and buy glue on the way, if she only went down Centerville, is Publix. And she never mentions that. She encountered police activity, turned around, and continued on her way. Later, she contacted by law enforcement. The glue purchase became a point, and then it goes on. Wendy's route to the liquor store did not require driving down Truscott. Her explanation was she was curious about a roadblock and turned into the neighborhood about seeing police activity. That drive-by of the crime scene has remained a most debated aspect. Which trial? The Charlie Adelson 2023. There is no dollar store there. And certainly wasn't in 2014. I've seen small super glue. I mean, there just is no place to buy super glue. I swear it's conflating the glue with the liquor, though. It may be, but there's still no place to buy glue in that area. Maybe she's huffing glue, but that's about as close as she got to the glue, because the only place would be Publix. There's no glue. I mean, going down Centerville, there's a gas station before all of that, but it's also on the wrong side. You can probably find super glue at Circle K. I don't think so. Super glue is all Circle. Bah. I'm gonna win and see, but I don't think so. I mean, she wouldn't have said I got gas. She made it sound like it was a separate stop. I'm more interested in Post Road now. Bullet Bourbon and Super Glue is the next song. Now I'm gonna go. John, can you buy glue at Wawa's? You cannot. You can't buy like, and you can't super glue. It's like Jim Croce song. Go for Hey Lucy, how are you? It is a convenience store and a gas station. You don't have any, John, where you are? No Circle K's? Nope. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate you all very much. You can't buy a super glue at these gas stations. You could buy one at like a truck stop gas station. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.